I am so glad to see you because it's always fiery when we get together. No, it's not. Someone asked
In
me
a
that the
good
other
way.
day. Yes, yes. We bring alternate, balancing, and representative of how you can have conversations that are supportive and not always affirming to the, I agree, I agree, I agree. So I think it's a wonderful thing that we bring, and I'm delighted and happy that you could join me again. For those of you who have not seen Cynthia with me on camera on the air before, she is multiple things. She's a mom of 3, so we have that in common, except I only have 2, so she has one more popped out than I do. And they are 3 daughters. I have 2 daughters. She's also an author, just as I am. Her book, however, is not about happiness. It's called You Can Do Hard Things.
That's right.
And she also has a workbook, and she's an entrepreneur. She's a restaurant owner after working at the restaurant, which I think is a wonderful example of entrepreneurship, which is today's topic. I tried to come out with a new, better term for what we're going to talk about. And I texted my kids and I said, if I say pan-entrepreneurship, what does that mean to you? Pan-entrepreneurship? And my daughter says, panda entrepreneurship, something to do with pandas. I go, we're not using that term. So P-Entrepreneurship is about pandemic entrepreneurship. And I thought, because both Cynthia and I are entrepreneurs, that we would share our opinions, our experience, and our tips for anyone who has thought about being an entrepreneurship. I went and Googled it. It's record-setting numbers of people because of the pandemic are going into business for themselves for obvious reasons. The huge number of layoffs, the huge number of changing direction for companies dying, small businesses going down. So I thought it was a timely topic with the 2 of us to address that today, and top 3 skills and abilities that an entrepreneur needs to have, particularly in the pandemic. So we'll see if Cynthia and I have the same 3 or different 3. I know one of hers, which is the topic she wanted to talk about, and I decided to make it broader so that we can be talking about a number of things. But hers, you want to say which one yours is for sure? Or are you going to change your mind?
Definitely not.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Mental toughness.
Mental toughness. So yes. When we finish our gratitude sandwich, we are going to have this topic for the rest of the day. So if you are in studio, I see some eyeballs rolling and a heart. Thank you very much. I'm not sure who it is. You can identify your heart on the comment section. This is the wonderful thing about this platform. In this last 6 months is I'm now able to stream on top of those 28 platforms, stream live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and my YouTube channel, which houses all of my past 812 shows. But who's counting? All right. But we start all the time with Cynthia's favorite breakfast, which is the gratitude sandwich. We're going to take a bite of it, 8 specific gratitudes that you have that you can start your day with in the most positive way. Cynthia, take it away.
It's simple, but we do really take it for granted. I am grateful for today. I'm grateful for my feet hit the floor, and I'm just grateful to be having my coffee. I made it in time to have some coffee. Oh shoot, that's 2. Sorry.
Okay, I'll do 2. I already had my delicious, wonderful coffee, and I love the fact that it's so easy for us to have comfort in this country, and in that we are in the top 8% of the planet where, we have so many easy comforts to enjoy. So that's 2.
I am grateful for my beautiful children. Every single one of those little lovely ladies.
How old are they again?
17, 14, and 12. Soon to be 13.
So I don't ever ask for patience anymore, because the last time I prayed for patience, I got teenagers. And you have two of them.
My words wisely.
Yes. It's not even in my vocabulary, but my last two, since you did three, my last two gratitudes are for my two daughters, who are 25 and 23. Just amazing. They're living together now, and it's wonderful getting texts and calls from them, because they're driving each other crazy. And it's so wonderful, because the things that they're talking about are the very things that used to drive me crazy when they were living here. So, what is that very what is that? Not payback, but the irony, or the
Yes.
the full circle thing. So those are the top of our bun for gratitude sandwich. The bottom of the bun, we're going to model for you. You actually do it before you go to bed. So this way you're sandwiching your day with gratitude on top and appreciation on the bottom. And the appreciation isn't for other people. The appreciation is for yourself, because in my BS, my belief system is that you really can have an amazing life if you start with self-love and self-care. And it's a muscle that a lot of us don't develop naturally if we're told not to be all that. Not who do you think you are? You're not the best thing since sliced bread. Put you in your place. And as a result, we go looking for love in all the wrong places, with antenna up, looking for likes, literally, thanks to social media, instead of going within and saying, what do I like about myself? Not in a, egotistical, cocky, I'm all, all that, but a balance of, I know what I'm good at, and I know what I'm not good at. So what is your appreciation today, Cynthia, for yourself? And we'll do 8 again.
Well, I'm going to start with the big one. I'm going to start with, I appreciate my mental toughness. It is definitely a muscle that you have to work, and to appreciate where you're at and how far you've come in that journey of being tough, especially now, because let me just tell you, I've gone through some stuff, and I appreciate that about me.
I appreciate that I am determined to have an amazing life, and that every minute I know doesn't come back, no do-overs. So I juice my life. I've learned how to really do the most with the time that I have.
I love that. I appreciate the fact that I can create my own joy, and a lot of people can't.
I appreciate that I'm 88% fabulous and 12% not so much.
I appreciate that I am constantly growing and evolving. I appreciate that I can learn every day.
I appreciate that I am very clear on my mission, my Happy 88 mission, 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years.
I love that. I appreciate that I can give myself grace.
And my last appreciation is that I am, I've come full circle in hating my heritage, because I was teased so much as a child for being Chinese and different, to embracing my Chineseness. I know you thought I was Swedish, but actually I'm Chinese. And 8 is a lucky number. It's a homophone for good fortune. And that's why I have so many 8s, if you're wondering, in my repertoire. So that is it for breakfast with Dr. Marissa and Cynthia Caughie here on Fired Up Fridays. Thank you for taking a bite of our gratitude sandwich this morning. And thank you for tuning in. If you've just come in, I see some new eyeballs. We are here to help you go up. UP stands for Unlimited Possibilities, and that's why we call it Fired Up Fridays. And we're talking about entrepreneurial success, giving you focus on solutions as usual. The problem was the economy and the challenges and all of the loss suffered by small businesses and large businesses. And the silver lining and the solution is many people realize that they could actually do something different. And they're setting out in their journey to be a successful pandemic entrepreneur for the time being. If you have a better term for me that we can launch on the show, please do put it in the chat, because I would love to come up with a new term for this beautiful effort that people are making to invest in themselves. So talk to us, Cynthia. What do you mean when you say mental toughness so convincingly?
Well, I started my entrepreneur journey probably about 3 years ago. It was after I bought the restaurant. I bought the restaurant knowing how much I loved it, but had only a fraction of the inkling of what it would take to actually run it and make it successful. So during my journey, first I had to learn to think bigger. That was really, really eye-opening for me. It was something that I wasn't accustomed to. Everything right in front of me is what I had, and I worked for it, and that was great. But what was next? Well, learning to think bigger, when you change what you think, then it changes how you think. So in order to do more, in order to think bigger, right, you have to be able to take some hits. Because if you try something and it doesn't work out, you got to try again. If you try something and it doesn't work out, you got to try it again.
Say that one more time.
That's right. If it doesn't work, when you try something, you got to do it again. And it's crazy because I posted something the other day that said, and I heard this on a podcast, success isn't how hard you can hit. It's how many hits you can take and get back up. And it is a rough gig. Like right now, the reason why I picked mental toughness is because I'm in the thick of it. It's a real tough gig right now. Like I'm in the trenches. These hands have made more pizzas than they care to share. But the mental toughness part is saying, yes, I can. It's a season. It's not going to be here forever. It is something that I have to go through to get to the next step, right? Nothing is perfect. Everybody has ups and downs. I'll share this too because I thought it was pretty apropos. I went to a worship concert on Tuesday, and I wanted to go. It was a birthday gift to myself, and it was during this time, right? I'm very, I'm up and down, but I can get through it. Like I know inside of me, I don't give up. I have the mental toughness, but I needed like a little something. Like there was this thing, and I was like, oh my gosh. And so I bought this ticket for myself. And if anybody knows who Steve Furtnick is, Steve Furtnick was there with the band, and the band is amazing. But he did a sermon in the middle of it. And he's talking about God and not showing you the whole story. Go up to the top of the mountain. I can't tell you the whole scripture. The gist of the story is get to the top of the mountain. Get to the top of the mountain because you don't know what's on the other side. But let me tell you what's on the other side is really good, right? You don't know what it is, but you go. Mm-hmm. He doesn't show you everything all at once, right? He doesn't show you everything all at once. So what happens is if you want to find out, you have to go through it. You don't know what's on the other side. You don't even know what there is at the top of the mountain, but you go and you do it anyway. And to me, that's the mental toughness. In the middle of his sermon, the lights go out. Like literally the whole place goes pitch dark. Literally.
On purpose? On purpose?
Nope.
Oh, because I thought that would have been a good, example.
Nope. And it was amazing. So he I'm sure he goes, that was not part of my sermon. And he says that out loud. I was not planning on that. Right? So what happens in life? It's not what I'm planning. I didn't see it coming. Right? But I'm going to get through it. Why? Because I know I can. Maybe if it was me up there on stage, maybe I would not have had the expertise that he had, and I couldn't have got through it. Maybe I would have said, okay, well, we're going to hold on for a second. Everybody take a water break. Everybody go to the concession stands, if you can see.
Yeah.
But he literally turned it and worked through it. So it was the perfect example. But not only that, what he was talking about was going through the darkness to get to the light. So the mental toughness is in the trenches. The mental toughness is when you have to get through the dark to get to the light, to get to the top of the mountain, to get to the other side. So that's why I was talking about the mental toughness, because I think right now, well, for me, obviously it resonates. And it's just the season that I'm in, but I know one of the things that gets me through the hard times and my mental toughness is faith. I have faith that I know that I can do it, for one, and that on the other side, I see what I have as an accomplishment. I know the vision that there is. It's not an easy road, but it's preparing me for what's next.
Uh-oh. This has not happened in a long time. Cynthia, you're frozen. Let me take you out and put you back in and see if we just lost Cynthia. Polly, can you see Cynthia?
No, she's got on my screen too.
Okay, let's text her and have her refresh. Lost you, refresh. All right. The wonderful thing about technology is we can tell her internet is stronger at the restaurant than it is in her home. But we're going to wait and see if she comes back in. But in the meantime, she just gave you what she is going through, and use it as an example of her number one quality, talent, gift, and ability that she believes is important for entrepreneurial success. And that is mental toughness. And I will agree with that and raise her one because my number one successful quality, I think, for anyone who wants to be an entrepreneur. And I actually learned this one from the co-founder of Priceline, Jeff Hoffman, as well as another one of my past guests, Larry Namer, who was the co-founder of E-Entertainment. And that is what I'm going to call poker. Poker is the know when, it was a song, know when to hold, no, na 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 hold, na 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 na, that one. Know when to hold and know when to fold. So that, my friends, is my number one, maybe not number one, definitely top three qualities and personality traits or developed skill for entrepreneurs, and that is poker. So the short form poker means you know when to hold and you know when to fold. So when you see successful people, and I was just saying, Cynthia, welcome back. Thank you. I think the internet in your restaurant's a little stronger or something. I don't know. But Phil Hoffman, I'm sure you've met him at a Secret Knock. He's the co-founder of Priceline, as well as Larry Namer, co-founder of E-Entertainment. They both answered I interviewed them both on the side, and you can get those on my YouTube channel. They talked about the failures, that they had failures on entrepreneurial projects, and that the key skill was knowing when to pull the plug. Because a lot of entrepreneurs get very tunnel vision around their project. So it's a balance between you have a vision, you know it's going to work, you know that that's the answer, you want to do it, you have the energy, and then you begin to get some, setbacks, like you're saying, you get knocked down. But there's a downside to always getting up on something, on a project that is just not going to work. So some entrepreneurs have a quick rise and a quick fall because they don't know when to hold and don't know when to fold. So that's one of my top three to match your mental hardness. So I call it poker.
I see. And I actually agree. It's a tough line. I don't think I've hit that mark yet.
I don't think you have either, and it wasn't a reflection on, but let's say all of a sudden we're hit by aliens and America no longer likes pizza. That would be a good sign, right? That maybe the knuckleball, meh. Right? So being able to have that wisdom to listen to and examine how things are going, right? But not giving up before the miracle.
Man, that's a tough one for me. I used to say, I either get what I want or I change my mind. Because I felt, and I honestly still do. If it's to be, it's up to me. Nothing is impossible. Nothing. So, product wise, if it's a product and it doesn't work, I understand that, right? I get that. But, if I'm willing to make my restaurant succeed, if I'm willing to bring this product to market, I don't see why I can't do it. I had an amazing conversation yesterday with somebody on a whim. And so to me, what happens is the universe sends me signs, God sends me signs, whoever it is, opens the door. And I say, it's confirmation. I'm going in the right direction. It's just a season. It's hard right now, but it's just a season. Hang in there. The mental toughness says, hang in there.
Yeah. Great. And I'm starting the Instagram for a change to see what happens. So you can jump in there when you see it. All right. My second entrepreneurial during pandemic, post-pandemic success. And so that's actually PPE, post-pandemic entrepreneurial success, or PPES. It's better than Panda entrepreneurship. So I'm going to use another code word for my entrepreneurial success abilities and traits, and that is Star Trek. To go boldly where no one has gone before. So you have a knuckleball. No one has a knuckleball. That's a brand new, creative product that you are bringing to the market. Every book is an example of something new that has never been done before because it's part of your creative innovation and ingenuity. I had a wonderful guest, Jason Latimer, who is a magician turned scientist, who says it's not about the questions that you ask, it's about the questions that you don't ask. So our whole internet is founded on the basis of what the keywords are. Welcome to Levine and David Ridner. On Instagram, you are tuned into, it's a good time for a station ID. You're tuned into Fired Up Fridays with Dr. Marissa and co-host
Cynthia Caughie.
Here on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. And welcome to the show. Thank you for tuning in on Instagram as well as on, oh, and I don't know, hopefully you can hear, let's see. I don't have the sound on for my Instagram. Maybe we'll go to your Instagram because I've got you in my ears. But the boldly go where no man has gone before, Jason said that it is facilitated by asking questions that people don't ask. But our Google is based on the common question. And by the time you click, you only see what everybody is thinking about or asking about. But really, if we're going to explore and create rocket ships and create airplanes and do those things that are uncommon, we have to ask the questions that nobody is asking. Right. So entrepreneurial success is based on boldly going where no man has gone before. And that's not easy sometimes. It's very easy to be caught up in what the majority thinks or what the mediocre thinks or what we're already doing. Asking that new question can help you be successful as an entrepreneur. Make sense?
It makes perfect sense. And it's crazy because we live in, I've said this before, the microwave society where we want it right now. Right now. So everybody wants the answer. They don't want to look for the answer. They don't want to search for the answer. They don't want to take the time. They want it right now. So there's those handful, right, that say, I'm going to be the person that figures this out. I'm going to learn how to do this, or I think it can be done this way. And then they figure out that I can do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
One of the things that I was going to say, I posted something yesterday about your tools. So I think that one of the things that an entrepreneur needs in today's world is to learn to use the tools they have. And so the analogy was, if I pick up a basketball, it's worth pretty much nothing to me. But if LeBron James picks up a basketball, how much is it worth to him? Right? Yeah. So to use the tools that you have, right, that you're good at. I own a restaurant. I can do front of house, hospitality, serve, do all of those things. Or I can work the back of the house, right? For me, it's a little bit of a draw, but for the most part, out in the front is where I should be. That, for me, is using my tools
to the best of your ability, to be that it's a job person fit for sure. And I don't know if I'm taking away juice, so I'm going to stop this Instagram because we are having some technical challenges right now. And so please go to the YouTube channel to comment and question. Thanks for joining me on Instagram right now. We'll get Cynthia back, but we're talking about post-pandemic entrepreneurial success. Join me on YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn. And all right, I am going to ask Cynthia to, there we go.
We're going with the flow.
Well, it's again, kind of like where you were at last night with the unanticipated kind of nutty, this is exactly what happens when you're an entrepreneur. Actually, it happens whether you're an entrepreneur or not, but the responsibility and the reaction that you have is way bigger than if you're in a company and the lights go off. When you're an entrepreneur and the lights go off, or the internet breaks down, or something happens, it's up to you. You can't control what happened, but you can control your reaction to it. And I've learned not to freak out totally when this stuff happens, because shift happens. And my ability to remain calm, cool, and collected in the midst of unplanned shiitake is one of the skills. How resilient are you to things that you are not prepared for? And if you're a control freak and you have to know and be in control of every single thing that happens to you, maybe entrepreneurship is not for you, because the ability to be quick on your feet and adjust and not overreact with a knee-jerk reaction, emphasis on jerk, is another quality that I think is so important. So I call that quality Muhammad Ali. So I've got my poker, I've got my Star Trek, and I've got my Muhammad Ali. And shout out to his daughter, Layla Ali, who's a beautiful friend. If you missed my interview with her, which was phenomenal, it's on my playlist on my YouTube channel. Cynthia.
That's awesome. I actually was going to say that is your response, but then I was going to say something else too. I don't have the catchy little phrases like you do, but the mental toughness was one. Using your strength, your strengths, right? Knowing what your tools are, right? Use those things. So as an entrepreneur, if you know your strengths, then you work to those strengths, and then you hire for your weaknesses, right? The things that you don't do well that somebody else can do well for you. And I think the third one is the flexibility. I was going to say flexibility, but it's the same, right? It's being able to think about what, one, you can control, like you said, and two, what are my options? It's not about, oh my gosh, I can't do this. Oh my gosh, I can't do that. Because in all honesty, that's all they told me through the pandemic. That's all they told me was what I can't do. And I said, well, let me just tell you what I can do. In the very, very beginning, I just got a remembrance of this last night. Somebody told me in the very beginning of the pandemic, we had this toilet paper shortage. Everybody was like going to the stores, taking all of the toilet paper off of the shelves, not only the toilet paper, but the water. It was like every time you went, everybody would take videos and show the whole aisle all completely bare, right? And I was like, this is insane. So I did a special. I did a special at the restaurant. Spend $20, get a free roll of toilet paper and a free bottle of water.
Wow, that's so smart.
I know. And everybody, and I made a big fun out of it, because for me, I was like, I don't know how long this thing is going to last. I don't know what's going to happen next. Nobody knew. And everybody was so scared, right? And I've always been kind of that person that says, hold on, let's just not freak out yet. Let's just see what's happening. Like, let's look at what are our options. So I used it to my advantage. I made it fun, gave people something to laugh about, something light, right? And then it made them remember. It made them remember. And to this day, I swear somebody just told me about it yesterday. They were pleasantly surprised. He said he was building his house. He went to go get a pizza to celebrate. And he said, and I came back and I told everybody, look, I got a roll of toilet paper and a bottle of water.
Yeah.
It was great.
That is great.
So being flexible, what can I do? Don't think about what you can't do, right? Because that's our whole life. Everybody tells you what you can't do. You really have to flip your mindset. And I always say it's when you change what you think, it changes how you think. And in being an entrepreneur and knowing what you can control and what you can do for your options is huge.
Yeah, for sure. I just realized that you are in the industry that was one of the most hardest hit in the pandemic. And so I'm going to give you a little kudos just for you, because that was, the fact that you're still a restaurant that made it through 2+ years of open or not open, restriction or not restriction, delivery or no delivery, the scrambling that you have had to have. I hope you really take in the magnitude of what you accomplished, Miss Cynthia, through the pandemic as a small business owner with a restaurant. I just realized that, it just dawned on me. I mean, everyone took a hit, and, I lost, 5 figures of income because of motivational speaking kind of tanked, and there was just nothing, and cancellation after cancellation. But there were other things that I could do. Your primary was having people come and buy pizza, right? And buy your thing. So I hope you do this, often, especially maybe now when you're taking the hits. If I were your internal coach, I would say, hey, I've done this. I've already made it through that. So this is peanuts. Maybe not peanuts, but definitely it really helped strengthen you. No?
Oh, for sure. Oh, it's definitely helped strengthen me. But again, and I'll just share, totally transparent. I mean, owning a restaurant is the hardest thing I've ever had to do, harder than parenting. And I went from 3 kids to 23 kids when the pandemic happened. Well, when I bought the restaurant, I had my full set of employees. I had 25 employees. I had 3 children, and I just did it. I worked in it. But then as I grew, right, as an owner, as a leader, then I knew the potential that it could have. Then we got hit like that. The pandemic, I remember standing in the middle of the restaurant going, now what? I'm literally sitting there looking at the TV for 3 hours. And I said, screw this. I turned off the TV, and this is where you were talking about. I was waiting for an answer. And then I said, that's not what I said, but you catch my drift. I said, turn it off, turn the TVs off. It was me and the manager at the time. We stood there, and I said, I can't handle it. I can't wait for somebody to tell me what to do. That's when the toilet paper and the water bottle marketing came through, and it was us helping the community. And I really just reached outside. It was kind of weird because I don't even know where it came from. I really don't. I mean, it just is one of those things where I said, what can I do? How can I do this? And I had employees help me. It definitely was one of those things that said, absolutely. But going through it and having those changes, it moved so quickly that I was constantly evolving and trying things out. I did things outside, bringing the community together. My biggest thing was, and this is one of the things where I go back to finding out your strengths. What do you do well? I found out that community is really where we thrive. Community, bringing people together, being that light, being that place where people can go and really have fun, right? I tell everybody when I hire somebody, think of us like Cheers. Everybody knows your name. When somebody walks in, we're a local, small community restaurant. We're here to support you. One of the things I say is, I'll take you any day of the week. Thank you for making us a part of your day, right? They can go anywhere. And so that was one of the things that I learned was one of our strengths. So right now, coming full circle, right? We're coming all the way out of it, but I wasn't doing that. I'm working so much in it that I forgot what my strength is, and that's to bring the community together. So I'm planning on having a football day because I'm closed on Sunday. So we're going to have a big football party on November 13th. And it's going to be reservation only because my restaurant is small and a lot of people have been asking for it. But that's one of the things. So that kind of brings it all together, right? Thinking outside the box, not thinking about the things that people say you can't do. What are my strengths? And then being flexible and moving with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And
What?
Oh, I thought you were talking and I couldn't hear you again. Scared me for a second. Oh, no.
I know it's been a little up and down. Thanks for bearing with me.
Absolutely. And I was just going to pull this up to celebrate because we haven't taken a break, but I mean, there's no need to take a break when we have some momentum going with some really good solution-oriented stuff. So I am going to use this opportunity to give you a little commercial love with the knuckleball.
Thank you.
I love this part. And that was Cynthia Caugie's restaurant creation, her newest baby. Called the Knuckleball, and it is coming to a store near you. And that's the latest entrepreneurial project that she's brought on. Those of you who've just tuned in, welcome to the show. You're just in time for almost the end of this show about PPE, post-pandemic entrepreneurship or entrepreneurial success. We are both lifelong entrepreneurs. Maybe it didn't show up until a little bit later. Maybe for you, it is something you are contemplating or have begun because of the pandemic. And I will encourage you to say one of the greatest expressions that I've heard on why you would want to be an entrepreneur is life is short. Why should I be working to help someone else fulfill their dream when I have a dream of my own? So I don't know who said that, but I paraphrased it and sort of made it my own, because I know that I don't get this these days over again. No do-over. I want to juice my life. I have about 8,000 more days. And entrepreneurship also allows you to live in a constant source of creativity. And the bonus one I wanted to add, the three that I have had: Star Trek, poker, and what was my third one? Oh yeah, Muhammad Ali. Yeah. Right? That's your flexibility. The bonus one I was going to talk about is something that Cynthia started with, as the willingness to not push so hard, but to allow also the powers of the universe to synchronize for you and help you along. I think, you know, if you tuned in earlier and you heard Cynthia talk about a worship team and going to that, this is not a religious show. However, we both believe in a power outside of ourselves. And I call my God my UPS man, my universal power source, and he delivers every morning when I pray and meditate, and all through the day with creativity. And I think if you're an entrepreneur and you're agnostic or an atheist, I don't think that you are doing yourself a favor by not acknowledging or tapping into a power that created the world. So you don't have to be religious, but I think, some people call it nature, some people call it source, some people, whatever it is that you call the energy that is out there that makes sure that you don't have to tell your body to digest your food. The power that makes sure that, the ocean naturally replenishes itself, that every blade of grass, grain of sand, water droplet is different than the other, that all 7.5 billion of us are unique, one of a kind, wonderful. That energy is accessible to all of us. And if you don't think it is, if you've ever had synchronous numbers, or you think of someone and then they happen to call you out of the blue that you didn't even reach out to them, that's an example of tapping into the power that creates the world. So I would encourage you, that's my bonus solution for entrepreneurs, is meditate. When you're meditating, you're quieting your mind so that you have access to that power. I get a lot of my best ideas when I've quieted my mind. I don't meditate to get the ideas. All I need to do, they're always coming. They're always there. But when I am thinking too hard or pushing too hard or trying to control, I don't have access to those creative thoughts and innovations.
I agree. Also, I shared something yesterday about rest. Sometimes we push so hard, and there's this drive in me that says, get up, just get up. But give myself enough grace sometimes to just rest. And it's not stopping, it's just giving yourself that time to rebuild your energy. Because if you just keep going and going and going, nobody is really the Energizer Bunny. Some people call me that. And I do have a lot of energy. But in the recent couple of weeks, couple of months, I've found myself going, whoa, whoa. I think I'm just going to need to rest today. And it's good. Yeah, but we have to give ourselves grace in order to do that, because a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we just want to keep going. We've got to find that next answer. We've got to get to that next step. But I've also heard sometimes you have to pull back in order to, you know what I mean? Excel forward. You got to pull back. So, and then when I say pull back, like, I mean, it's just a rest period. Just give yourself grace to rest, to recoup. It's your energy. It's your thoughts. You know what I mean? It's your actual health too. You know, if you run yourself down, you're not good to anybody.
Absolutely. I guess that's where we also link. I've been called Energizer Bunny as well. And I actually met an executive early on in my career from Nestle, Hans Niedert. I met him on an airplane and he called me a little tornado. Or a little hurricane. It was one of the two. But absolutely that rest. And it reminded me of one of the fuels for entrepreneurs is if you can't enjoy the journey that you're on, then you can't enjoy the success that you have. So I think that it's important for us as entrepreneurs to really enjoy and not just wait for when this happens, I will be happy, because it's not going to happen for a while. The whole planting of seeds, the worst thing you can do as an entrepreneur is watch your idea begin to birth, and it's a sprout. And then there's a little time where it still is continuing to grow underneath, but you can't see it. And the temptation is for us to grab the sprout and go, rip it out and look at them. Why aren't you growing? And you just killed the idea, that impatience. And early on in my career, I realized that, you know, I don't have to call 8 times if something's not happening, because I'm going to kill the project if I'm constantly calling to say, is this going to happen? When is this going to happen? You know, why isn't it? Like, all of that is chill. That is the advice is chill, just chill out, relax, have fun. I'm very good now at balancing out that drive with, I play Mahjong in the middle of the week, every Wednesday afternoon for 4 hours. I get to play at the senior center because I enjoy it. And I know that I could get more work done, but it's like, I want to balance out my life with work and play. Then I can have play at work. But unless I do that, I'm going to be ragged. I'm not going to enjoy the things that I have to do.
Yeah. And it's part of the self-awareness, right? You know what makes you tick, you know what you need. And for me, it happened to me last week. It's joy. You create your own joy, right? You know what it takes. You know how you tick, and you fuel yourself with certain things, whether it's rest, whether it's joy, whether it's fun, those kinds of things, right? Being with people, you know, people who bring you joy, people who help you with your energy level, right? You want to feed all the parts of your soul, your body, your mind, your heart, and your spirit in order for you to be the best version of you, right?
Absolutely,
Keep
which is why this
going.
show is fun, right? You know, I get energized every time I'm on with you. I don't know about
Aw,
you.
thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah. I love Fired Up
yeah,
Fridays. I love it.
yeah. It keeps us both on our toes
Yes.
because we never know who's going to say what. But it's been great. It's been great, and I
Thank
and
you.
I
It has been.
appreciate you, and I appreciate our experiences. Would you, Cynthia? I'm going to be a host for a second. Do you regret any of the things that have not gone the way that you have planned?
Hmm. In all honesty, no. I don't have any regrets. It's funny because I actually thought about that a little bit recently, but I take everything. I really live with the it's my first attempt in learning. If it's something, you know, that didn't go right, well, there's a reason. You know, there's a path. Again, God doesn't show you the whole, right? He doesn't show you the whole story. He wouldn't, because then you wouldn't do half of what your life is supposed to be. And so I just take it as part of my journey. I don't regret
Yeah.
any of it.
Yeah, good. That was a trick question because that is a skill of entrepreneurs that I think is so valuable is the ability to know that everything happens for a good reason. Now, there's a lot of people out there who will not say that because they say things that this is proof that there is not a friend. It's not a friendly universe. Otherwise, this good would have happened. This would have worked out, and this
Right.
would have worked out. But the truth is, I choose to believe in a friendly universe that it's always this or better.
That's
It's always this or and it's going to be okay in the end. And if it's not okay, it's not the end. I am
right.
so strong in choosing those BS belief systems
Mhm.
so that it works for me, never against me. When I interviewed Halle Berry, I asked her what her motto was in life. And she said, when you're going through hell, keep going.
Keep going.
So it's so important. I hope this is my final word. Cynthia, I'm going to ask you for your final word. You know, for me, the how you are successful as an entrepreneur is just being grounded in the knowledge that you're one of a kind, wonderful, that all of the creative juices that you're drinking are Kool-Aid, good Kool-Aid, and that when you are hit with a setback, you know, the most helpful thing for you to say is, I can't wait to see what good comes out of this.
It's true.
I can't
So
wait to see what good comes out of this with as much or as little sarcasm as possible. Sarcasm
That's
is
good.
another service I offer, but
That's
every
good.
time I do that, it takes the negative energy and flows it into solution. So that is my formula, and that is my last word on PPE, post-pandemic entrepreneurial success. Your last word, Cynthia.
I would say
Oh shoot, it's 9:01. I am so sorry I didn't see the clock. This is Dr.
That's okay.
Marissa and
Cynthia Caughie.
wishing you the best weekend ever. We'll see you next Friday. Join me on Monday for more Take My Advice. I'm not using a gift balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show.
Peace in, peace out. Hopefully